Hello, my name is Lynne Finn, and I'm the Associate Vice President of Facilities Management at the University of Iowa. I want to talk to you today a little bit about the Steps Forward document, specifically the Facilities, Buildings, and Grounds section. As we work through preparing the campus for the fall semester, we have been creating building practices from this Steps Forward Returning to Campus Fall 2020 document. Facilities management has been inspired by the guiding principles of the Steps Forward document. University of Iowa is committed to providing a world-class experience for our students, faculty, and staff. And a guiding principle at the beginning here is that the University of Iowa recognizes that the more an individual interacts with others and the longer the interaction, the higher the risk of COVID-19 spread. So with that in mind, we have been preparing to set a plan in place for fall semester. There are a lot of considerations, multiple considerations to take into account as we made these preparations. We look to the CDC and the Iowa Department of Public Health for guidance. Our industry and our peers provided assistance as well. We sought advice from medical and public health experts. We looked at the timeliness of the solutions. We looked at the feasibility of the solutions. And we also took into account that there might be unknown relative risk factors and influencers as we looked at our options. We considered the supply chain, and we considered financial, environmental, and operational impacts of our solutions that we considered. As we worked through this process, we came across several primary decision drivers that we applied as we made our plan. The first one was we were going to focus our work on risk mitigation, not elimination. We also wanted to pay attention to creating any unintended consequences with a solution. We also realized that risk mitigation is interdependent. The effectiveness of building and operational practices are directly related to behavior and community health conditions. We emphasized our priority by occupancy and time. Again, going back to that guiding principle, the more people in a space for longer periods of time creates a greater potential risk, and that created the place where we spent the most time planning. And then finally, our decisions were driven by the fact that we needed to be considering emerging information and recommendations as things change, as we learn more, so that we are ready and able to support the University of Iowa fall semester. One of the sections of the Step Forward document focuses on ventilation on campus. And it's broken down into 4 segments, focusing on operations, verification, monitoring, and communication. So in the area of operations, we set forth our goal that we wanted to increase the filtration levels as the system's age and capabilities allow. In addition to that, we wanted to make sure that everything was operating properly, and we looked to change operating parameters to adjust to increase fresh air mechanically. So what we did to accomplish this goal, the first thing we did is to upgrade as many filters to a MERV 13 level as possible based on the systems. The university is investing nearly $500,000 in this process for this one-time filter upgrade, and the installation is scheduled to be done before school starts. To tell you a little bit about MERV 13, MERV 13 is a type of filtration capability that has the most opportunity to capture the smallest particulates. And so this is the level where bacteria and virus carriers can be captured by the filter systems. Other actions, in addition to the MERV 13 filter upgrade, we also adjusted all of the classroom operations to maximize airflow during occupancy, thus increasing the filtration and the fresh air. Also, we're planning to purge the building air daily by activating the HVAC systems at least 2 hours before class starts. All of these follow the recommendations outlined by CDC and the ASHRAE documents. The next segment of the ventilation section is verification. So the goal here is to ensure that all of our ventilation systems are operating properly. We needed to make sure that we reviewed and assessed all of the building systems related to HVAC. The actions that we took to verify our systems is that we had an extensive operational assessment with the focus on classroom spaces. Again, leaning into that guideline that the more people in a space for a longer period of time is where we needed to prioritize our work. We spent extensive time in 600 classroom spaces, examining all of those systems. We identified each system capability related to infection risk mitigation, and we documented all the building level ventilation capabilities in all of the academic and administrative spaces. Part of this assessment process was utilizing our work order management system to create a 20-point checklist that detailed the operation and the functionality of every single air handler. The next segment of the ventilation area is monitoring. This is going to be so critical this fall as we watch how the buildings perform under the load of the campus community. Our goal here is to monitor operations or conditions that may affect the performance or the conditions in the buildings. We also will be monitoring changes in planned building occupancy to make sure, again, that the buildings are performing and doing the jobs that they need to do. The way we're going to do this monitoring is through first our routine building controls program. We have an extensive network collecting data from all of our utility systems, our building systems, HVAC systems, and reporting back and giving us information about the performance and how the buildings are conditioned. The University of Iowa also enjoys an added type of monitoring here. We have an extensive fault and detection and diagnostics program. We currently monitor 12,000 pieces of equipment across 53 buildings. That's 90,000 data points being collected at 5-minute intervals. The analytics work through all of the data, identifying early predictive faults that may be happening in these systems. This will help us monitor and predict how the systems are going to be operating. In addition to this, we also have programmed additional indicators for indoor air quality into our fault detection diagnostics system. This is a screen off of that indoor air quality system monitoring as part of FDD. So paying attention to how the buildings are performing with these indicators will help us serve the campus. The last area of the ventilation section is communication. The goal here is to make sure that information is available to the campus community regarding all of our building system operations. And then we wanted to develop a process for addressing any concerns or questions relating ventilation or filtration from our campus community. The actions that we are taking in this area is we have really leveraged the building coordinator network. This is a group of amazing professionals who work as liaisons between the programs out in the buildings and facilities management. They know and understand the programs, and they can help us all be successful. They've been doing a great job and will continue to be important in the fall. The return to campus unit planning was another major communication effort that facilities management participated in. As we prepared for the fall semester, the CIMT and the campus partners met with each one of the academic areas, answering questions, learning together, and coming up with ideas of how we could build a fall plan that would make sense. And then finally, FM at your service was enhanced to create a COVID button specifically in our customer portal related to COVID questions. What this allows users to do is access information and ask questions specifically related to the fall setup and how we're responding to COVID in an effective and efficient way. So those are the building practices that we're approaching in ventilation, uh, operations, verification and monitoring, and communication. This is just one part of what facilities management is doing to contribute to a successful fall semester at the University of Iowa. Thank you.